are more in on Jay Williams than other people.
I'm lockstep with Jay Will.
Yeah.
Lockstep. I always will trade unproven for proven. Cooper Flagg is 18 years old.
Yes.
He looks like he's going to be great.
Yes.
Not good, great. I think it works for both teams. I would package. I would send 2 number ones.
Yeah.
To Milwaukee with Cooper Flagg and then a whole bunch of other guys.
Yeah.
P.J. Washington and Daniel
Clay,
Gafford.
probably.
Well, I would keep Clay because here's why.
He's got one of the bigger salaries, and you got to match $49 million.
Yeah, I did it today.
I was playing with the trade machine today.
I did it today too, and I did it
without
Clay.
Without Clay?
Yeah.
How long did you play with the trade machine?
I only did it for 10 minutes.
It doesn't take long.
It doesn't usually. Sometimes, for me now,
I put guys like
I nailed the trade.
P.J. Washington, Max Christie, dudes like that in there. But here's why I would do it. If you go back to when Andrew Wiggins was the number 1 pick, he was taken by the Cavs. Everybody was talking about Andrew Wiggins like they're talking about Cooper Flagg, how he was a can't-miss prospect. And Andrew Wiggins has had a good career.
Yeah, he's had a nice career, but not a
But
number
at the
one
time, he was
prospect
18 years old. He had played 1 year at Kansas. The Cavs were trying to win right now. So they sent him to Minnesota for Kevin Love.
Right.
Kevin Love comes to the Cavs. They win the title. If Nico has been consistent in saying, and the reason he traded Luka, who was 25, for AD, who was 32, was that he's in a win-now mode. He has Kyrie, he has Clay, he has AD. You add Giannis to that, I think they'd be the favorite.
So for this coming year, though, Kyrie is kind of off the board, right?
Well,
till the end of the season,
Michael
maybe.
thinks he'll come back around the All-Star break.
Okay, so around the All-Star break. So then they get full strength.
So now the problem with my plan is you're betting on guys who have all had injury histories, including Kyrie and Clay, who have both torn their Achilles, and AD, who gets
tends
hurt a
to.
lot.
Yeah. Now, the one thing I'll say is, and I brought this up yesterday, but there is something to be said for having a young, he's a decade younger than Giannis.
He's 12 years younger than Giannis.
12 years younger than Giannis. There you go. So you've got him for the next 5 years at a really cost-controlled opportunity. I understand why you wouldn't make that trade, especially I don't think Nico can afford to screw up another trade.
But this is Giannis. He's gone 30, 10, and 5 the last 2 years in a row. Nobody's ever done that. He might be, Mace, the best player in the NBA. It's either him or Jokic, or this year maybe SGA. But look at Giannis's numbers over the last 2 years.
Yeah, 30 points, 12 rebounds.
He is
7 assists.
And he basically won a title in Milwaukee because of him.
Yeah.
He's really, really good. If you can get him for Cooper Flagg, who, again, is not going to be good. He's going to be great.
Yep.
But Cooper Flagg's 18. He's 3 or 4 years away from being – like Kobe didn't win his first title until he was 21.
Right.
Cooper Flagg's not going to be the best player on a title contender next year, but he might be in 3 years. The Mavs want to win now, and Giannis might be the best player in the league right now.
Okay.
And by the way, don't sleep on San Antonio either. They got the second pick.
Right.
And a ton of assets, and they could go get Giannis. So Dallas, if they're going to do this, they got to do it now.
He's a generation younger. He is going to sustain you past the next 5 years, conceivably, right? Because you get his bird rights and you get the opportunity to keep him for a longer period of time. And you also get to use him as a complement on the wing to AD and whatever it is, Derek Lively or Daniel Gafford or whoever it is. I mean, I still believe that the right thing to do is to not spit at the basketball gods and take that pick.
Well, wait a minute. When Cleveland did it with Andrew Wiggins, it led him to the title. And so that's why you do it.
Well, no, it can, but let me just go through this. So there's a bunch of NBA scouts who got together and talked to Yahoo, off the record, of course. And they took the last 10 number one picks and compared them to Cooper Flagg. So I want to tell you ask you how you feel about this. So last year, number one pick was Zachariah Risacher from the Atlanta Hawks. I don't know. Is that how you say it? Risacher.
Yeah.
Do you think Risacher or Flagg?
Flagg.
Correct. That's what the scouts say. Victor Wembanyama, obviously, it's Wemby. 2022, Paolo Banchero.
I would take Banchero.
These guys take Flagg. The scouts take Flagg.
Okay.
2021, Cade Cunningham.
Oh, that's so close.
I take Cade Cunningham. I love Cade Cunningham. He's such a good player.
It's a coin flip. It's a coin flip.
Anthony Edwards was the year before, 2020.
Edwards, for sure.
They say Flagg.
They're out of their minds. Edwards, if you guys are watching these playoffs, Edwards may be the best player in the NBA right this second.
He's great. He's great.
Playing better than anybody.
I'm just telling you what the scout people say.
I don't think other than Wemby, there is anybody that Minnesota would trade Ant 1-for-1 for, including Jokic. That's how high they are on him.
How about Zion? He was
you would take
2019.
Flagg because Zion's
You take
been a
Flagg,
bust.
yeah. DeAndre Ayton, 2018. You take Flagg.
Flagg.
2017, Markelle Fultz, you take Flagg.
Sure.
2016, Ben Simmons, you take Flagg.
Boy, wait a minute. Ben Simmons, Markelle Fultz, and then who was the
Ayton,
year after Fultz?
Fultz,
those
Simmons.
are three bad number one.
Yeah, they are
picks.
bad number ones. The number one doesn't guarantee you, especially in an open year. Now, this year, there's apparently a really strong number one and a really strong number two.
Right, which is why you can't sleep on San Antonio for zooming in for Giannis.
Right.
This is not – okay, the question we should be asking is not –
Can I just add a breaking piece of news on this?
Yeah.
This is Tim McMahon. Sources, yes, the Mavericks plan to draft Cooper Flagg. No, Mavs Governor Patrick Dumont will not take a gift horse in the mouth and consider trading the number one overall pick.
Well, Patrick Dumont doesn't know what he's doing. Hopefully when he said – I'm letting Nico make all basketball decisions, he was serious, because Patrick Dumont is an idiot. He is the guy who came out and when asked, why did you trade Luka, he goes, I need people that have a strong work ethic like Shaq. Shaq had the worst work ethic of anyone I've ever seen.
Exactly.
The problem the question we should be asking is not, is Cooper Flagg going to be great? He is.
Yep.
He's going. The question we should be asking is, who do you want for the next 5 years? Flagg or Giannis? And my answer is Giannis.
Yeah.
Now, if you care,
it's very hard to build around a player that's making $49 million and next year $50 million. That's what my point is. It's like having that rookie quarterback on a rookie deal where you can put all the best players around him in an NFL situation.
Right.
When you've got a guy making not a lot of money, you can add role players and pieces more easily.
But where would you rank the Mavericks in terms of favorites if they don't trade Flagg? Maybe fourth, fifth?
Are they, if they do?
Everybody healthy.
Okay.
AD, Kyrie, Clay, Flagg, and PJ Washington.
Yep.
I would put them behind Minnesota, behind Oklahoma City, probably behind the Lakers after they get a center.
Yeah, 5-ish, I would say.
If they had Giannis, 2 at the worst, maybe 1. So it's what another question we should be asking is, what's more important, to win in the next 5 years or to build for the next 20? If you want long-term guy you can build around, keep Flagg. If you want to win in the next 5 years, go get Giannis.
Yeah. And by the way, and now, do you think Milwaukee would have done that deal? Dallas sounds like they won't, but do you think Milwaukee would have done that deal?
Of course. Milwaukee traded away all their draft picks.
I think that's the best deal they can get.
And by the way, some of those players coming back, like P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford, those guys are all good.
Yeah.
And you get a generational star in Flagg.
Yep. And
you get 2 number ones. You might be able to get a third number one out of them. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's all, for me, it's, you know, what's interesting, I think you're looking at this as the prized asset in these deals we're talking about is Flagg.
Yes.
And I look at it as the prized asset in all these deals is Giannis.
Although, to me, it is almost exclusively about the money and what you can add based on the money.
Yeah, if you're worried about the money, you should keep Flagg. But
yeah.
I think if you're worried about the title and you want to make a title run, can you imagine AD, Giannis, and Kyrie all on the same team, and then so you have to help, and the person you'd be helping off of would be Clay.
Right.
And you're leaving the best three-point shooter of his generation along with Steph wide open on the wing. I mean, I don't know how you would defend that team. Giannis Mace is so much better than people realize.
Right.
You know what he's going to do? he's going to try and dunk, and you still can't stop it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Giannis...
And he's elite defensively.
It doesn't have to do with Giannis. It has to do with the concept of team building and the way the salary's structured and what you're able to do around him. It's hard to work around a $49, $50 million a year salary. Hey, the big CY stopped in. What's going on, Clinton?
Not much. I'll just say I agree 100% with Ireland. I'm trading for Giannis every single time and twice on Sunday. I get what you're saying. I just feel that because if they hadn't said themselves, Mace, and Ireland, you know this, we are in a win-now window, then this would be different. Before they traded, Luka. I mean, after they traded Luka, before this lottery thing came up, you stated it's a win now. So to stick to the imperative that was their own goal, to me, you're closer with Giannis.
Or does that change because you got the number one
that
pick in the draft and you start thinking about the next 10 years?
Well, do you guys remember what Nico's default answer was when he met with the media both times? He kept repeating the same three
Defense
words.
wins championships.
Right.
Yeah.
Giannis might be the best defensive player I've ever seen.
Right. So
ever.
I do think it's a real question, but I think that once you've got one, you've got to take it into consideration because you just don't know what you could get out there that might also help the long-range plan. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. So I just kind of feel like if you've got a chance to get Giannis, he's only 30, and he's still got a couple years on that. That is such an attractive option to me versus a player who is very much, betrothed, if you will, to greatness, but just hasn't done it. You don't know.
And Mace, you said at the beginning of that when you played the Alan Hahn clip.
Yes, the Alan Hahn clip.
The first thing he says, what do you want her to do, burn the building down? If they got Giannis, Maverick fans would be more excited than getting Cooper Flagg. Not less, more. Giannis is better right now than Flagg.
Right.
If they got Giannis, they would throw a party in Dallas.